Welcome to this masterclass in how to make yourself a fiberglass copy of a factory dashboard for your racing car. It's a masterclass because it's a complex project and it's one that presumes that you know the basics of fiberglassing. I won't be covering the basics in this video. If you haven't done much work in fiberglass and you need to know what the basics are, go and have a look at the very first tutorial that I made in my video playlists. This is a complex job, but not a particularly difficult one. We've got the dashboard out of the car. In this case, or instance, it's out of my son's RX-7 Mazda race car. It's composed of several bits that I'll bring together. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the factory dashboard to make a die, and then I'm going to make a mould of that, and then in that mould I'll reproduce the final product that will go into the race car. And once we've got the mould off this, then we'll be able to obviously make multiple copies of that mould for other guys with racing cars. It's not designed for a show car, it's designed for a racing car. It doesn't mean we're cutting any corners, but that's what the end result is aimed at. Although I'm making a dashboard for a racing car, all the methods and techniques that you're about to see would also be how you would go about reproducing a custom dashboard, or if you were taking a car and converting it from left or right hand drive or the other way around, what you would do with a left to right hand drive is you take the factory dashboard, you cut it into three pieces, the left side, the right side and the middle, swap those pieces round, sculpt your die, and then do the fiberglassing and caulking as you'll see me do here. If you're making a custom dashboard for a car, my advice would be, for your die, start with the dashboard that fits the car. That way you'll get the windscreen shape right and the sides, and then add the various bits and change the shape in the way that you want to. Just sculpt it out of any material that you like, make your die, and then once you make your die, just pick up where you'll see me start to fiberglass and mould this die that I'm making for the race car. I've got my working clothes on, so let's get started. The first thing with a job like this is to put what you're sculpting on a stand. So I've screwed some timber underneath to it, put some feet out on it, and now the dashboard just sits nice and right at the angle that I want it to mould. So the cloth will hang down there and on this side. So I've positioned the trestle so the angle that I want this way, so the cloth will hang properly, is correct. But now I've got control of it. If I didn't have that timber underneath it, I'd be chasing this all over my workbench. So that's where we start. Now what I'll do is I'll put the various pieces of this dashboard together, and I'll just glue them all together with car body filler. It's important with a job like this to clean the whole dashboard before you begin, because usually you're going to have a lot of oil and armour oil and protective coating that's been put into the dashboard over the years. So cleaning it with acetone will give you a good surface for adhesion of glues. Just putting this body filler where it works to glue it together. Goes without saying on a job like this that you're sacrificing the dashboard. There's no way this baby's coming back. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use electrical tape to just pinch up these joins and get them as snug as I can, because being a piece of plastic, the dashboard flexes all over the place. So go right round it with the tape. I might get this joint up as best I can. The other thing's going to, that tape's going to stick to as itself, really. So a bit more body filler just to lock the job together. I'm not trying to fill these depressions at the moment. I'll come back and do that later once everything's locked together. Just trying to get all the pieces glued together. So really I don't want any of this body filler, or I'm going to have to sand it out of the way later on. You can see that James has done a bit of blanking off and filling on this dashboard already. You can see I've glued the glove box door in place. I've got to put a fair amount of filler where that lock is, and I've glued in these two blanking off panels. There's going to be a digital dash go there, so we just want a smooth job there. But I've just glued all these plastic bits together, pinching them up with the tape. I'll let that set overnight, and then I can come back with some bulk filler, some fairing compound, and fill in all the imperfections. And you can see how much better it is having that dash now sitting on that timber stand, so that I can work on it without it moving all over the place. mould of the dashboard is ready to have its first copy made in it, and I'm going to make it in fiberglass. Now, before some of you keen carbon fibre tyros grab your keyboard and say, why didn't you make it out of carbon fibre, Bill? Carbon fibre, you've got to remember, is a woven cloth, and it doesn't conform well to multiple and compound curves, the sort that you've got in this job. The only way you could get this to really work on a job with these sorts of shape is with vacuum bagging, and I deliberately choose to stay away from that sort of work, although I can do it, because I'm trying to demonstrate to you what you can do without having to have the equipment and the extra skills to do vacuum bagging. So I'm going to make it out of fiberglass, and fiberglass chop strand mat is not a woven cloth, and it will break and conform much better quite easily to compound curves. So that's why I'm making this job out of fiberglass rather than carbon fibre, because I just want to do it with hand laying and without using vacuum bagging. But I am going to add some bling, and I'll show you that. I'm going to cover the instrument panel section of the dashboard with carbon fibre. This is a fairly flat panel, so I'm going to mix both carbon fibre and fiberglass in the one job. The other thing I'll do is add blue shimmer crystals to the clear coat that I'll put down first to hold down the carbon fibre.